Well, today in Louisiana, 4 former and current local law enforcement officers, including police chiefs, were federally charged in what prosecutors are describing as a decades-long immigration visa scheme. Investigators allege that these very officers committed conspiracy, immigration fraud, bribery, mail fraud, and money laundering, according to the 62-count indictment that was unsealed this morning. The FBI and Homeland Security carried out the arrests and search warrants across the state yesterday. NBC News correspondent Priscilla Thompson joins us with the details. Priscilla, when you're dealing with people who are seeking immigration, you're generally dealing with a pretty vulnerable population, people who are less likely to speak out when they feel something is wrong or may not feel like they have the resources to get help. So how did this even get on prosecutors' radar in the first place?
Yeah, so we know that prosecutors at some point started to notice an outsized number of armed robberies that were being reported. And what they found is this conspiracy that centers on these U visas. So these are visas, non-immigrant visas for people who witness or are victims of a violent crime and who are helping law enforcement. And so the person at the center of this all is allegedly a Subway owner and operator, Chandra Patel, who allegedly would collect payments from these foreign nationals and then pay these police chiefs, former police chiefs and officers to draft up documentation to show that those nationals were victims of crime. So fake police reports, things like that. And these were police officers from across the state. You had Chad Doyle with the Oakdale police chief, Michael Frex-Laney, the Oakdale city marshal, Glenn Dixon, the Forest Hill police chief, and also Tebow Onisha, the former police chief of Glenmora. So all of these officers in this indictment. And I want to play a little bit of what prosecutors had to say about this indictment, and specifically that this is not about the overall police offices, but these officers specifically. Take a listen.
We brought these allegations against who we allege to be corrupt officials, and we are not alleging that these are corrupt police departments.
All the arrests were effected without incident. All the searches effected without incident. This operation went off as cleanly and as peacefully as it possibly could have gone.
Whether you carry a badge or a business license, those who engage in criminal activities will be held accountable.
And prosecutors say that hundreds of visas were approved via this route and that those officers and deputies were paid $5,000 per piece of documentation that they supplied. And now they are facing potentially decades in prison and up to a $250,000 fine if convicted.
Unbelievable. Priscilla Thompson reporting for us. Priscilla, thanks.
Hey family, it's African Osarenko back at you with another video. So family, I want to discuss seriousness with you about this visa scamming thing, and these chiefs, these police chiefs, and I want to say I'm not sure if they were connected with ICE or not, but I'm going to read the article that was done by PBS. But you know, the truth is for real. I mean, yeah, the immigrants that are even here legally have to be very careful right now and mindful because, and I understand what them saying, how ICE is rolling up with mask on and all this old crazy stuff. You know, it really makes you think about the KKK and things like that and how they roll up on people. But anyway, um, with this going on, and people don't know where they're being taken to, who is taking them. Look, I'm just saying, right is right and wrong is wrong. But see, if they come for Black Americans like that, they're gonna have problems. Trust me, they're gonna have problems. They're gonna have to call more than the National Guard up out of there, and at that point, yeah. So it says, as I said, this is a story by PBS News. Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Three current or former Louisiana police chiefs were arrested following a federal investigation into an alleged scheme that involved false police reports being sold to immigrants lacking permanent legal status and used to try to secure a visa, authorities said on Tuesday. The forged police reports would indicate that the immigrant was a victim of a crime. U.S. Attorney Alexander C. Van Hook said at a news conference in Baton Rouge. He said the police officials were paid $5,000 for each name they provided falsified reports for, and that there were hundreds of names. Do you hear this, family? They were given $5,000 per person, and there were hundreds of names on these lists. There had to be an unusual concentration of armed robberies and people who were not from Louisiana, Van Hook said. In fact, the armed robberies never took place. Van Hook and others said at the news conference that the arrest of the current and former chiefs and two other people doesn't mean their police departments are corrupt. Yes, it does. It means the whole police department needs to be thrown into the garbage and dismantled and re-up again, because that's exactly what it means. The whole department is corrupt, and we know in most of these United States cities and towns, most of the police officers are corrupt. It just is what it is. I mean, they are into drugs and uh, probably sometimes prostitution, unalivings. They're into all kind of stuff in these police departments. It says some crime victims and their families may be eligible for temporary visas, and in some cases, a path to citizenship. About 10,000 people got these U visas in the 12-month period ended September 30th, 2022, the latest period for which the Homeland Security Department has published data. These special visas are specifically for victims of certain crimes who have suffered mental or physical abuse and are helpful to law enforcement or government officials in the investigation and prosecution of criminal activities, based on a description of the program published by the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. Two of the police chiefs have been arrested as of the Wednesday morning news conference, authorities said. Lester Duhey, a spokesperson for the Louisiana Attorney General's office, said that office was assisting federal agents with court authorized activities when asked about its role in the cases. The current or former police chiefs are from small central Louisiana municipalities that are near each other. They're in a part of the state that is home to multiple immigration detention facilities. Okay, privately owned, may we add. Okay, some privately owned, some are also state owned. Although Louisiana doesn't share a border with a foreign country, there are 9 ICE detention facilities in the state holding nearly 7,000 people. So, family, the bottom line here is, if they know this is going on, why not go back years, at least to 2020? Because these officers probably or chiefs were doing this. These, let's say, these departments, because that's what we're gonna say until it's proven otherwise. These departments were doing this for years. $1,000 per head. And there were thousands of names on the list. And how long was this operation rolling? You see, these people do all kinds of illegal things. They really do. And they're allowed to get away with it. And God forbid, I mean, some of the people probably were even uh, could have been, brutalized or whatever, or threatened if they told. And of course, I mean, I guess, if you're an immigrant and somebody in law enforcement tells you to say something. But now the thing was who at the end of the day, who was making the money? Who was paying the money? Who was benefiting from this happening? See, it's always somebody higher. If these are the chiefs that they arrested, the three chiefs, then you know it's somebody above those chiefs who had knowledge of what was going on. It's just a matter of pinpointing, where the money was going. Because if they were getting $5,000 per person, then somebody that was above them was probably getting a lot more than that. They could have been getting 10 or 15,000 per person. You just don't know. You gotta they need to trace the money and see where the money's going and how high up it's going. Unfortunately, family, we know that there are senators, there are congress people, there are lawyers, there are people way up top, even to the White House, that are committing crimes, doing all kinds of illegal things, yet they still hold power. hmm They still hold power, and they can come out as who said it? Trump said it best. He said he could go on. I forget what street it was in New York, but I know it's a busy main street. It might have been the one where everybody goes to visit. But anyway, he said he could commit an unaliving, and he would get away with it, and he could do it on a busy main street, and he would still get away with it. And apparently, that's the truth because he's a 34 felon, convicted felon, and yet he's in the White House. So I think he was telling the truth. I think it was right. When you are white, and I think that means they think that means you're right. hmm So, unfortunately, it is what it is. Um, but now they are cracking down on the illegal immigration as they should be cracking down on it. And we're not saying that people are not coming here and not hardworking. Of course, we know there are hardworking individuals coming here that are coming here the right way, and that's the way it should be done. But then there are people that are not coming here the right way, and they are influxing into a system that cannot, maintain the stability of them being here doing that. Come the right way is just the bottom line. Okay. But I thank you so much. Like, share, comment, and let's chop it up in the comment section. All right, family, take care. Peace. Bye bye.